What is the typical pattern for popular YouTube videos about Amazon KDP? It's pretty predictable. They start off claiming they have just discovered a brand new, super secret low content book niche where one book is supposedly make $10,000 a month or more. Then, to sell you on the dream, they quickly flash the book's BSR, pull up an Amazon KDP sales calculator, and show you some eye-popping sales and royalty estimates, all to convince you that you can do it too. Sound familiar? Of course it does. There are thousands of these videos all over YouTube. Today we are cutting through the nonsense. I will walk you through the official information straight from Amazon's Help Center and KDP Help Center. Stay with me as I explain what Amazon BSR really is, how it is calculated, and uncover the real cost of earning $10,000 a month or more on Amazon with a detailed example at the end of this video. It's something YouTubers deliberately leave out, so don't miss the conclusion. Let's dive in. So what is exactly Amazon's bestsellers rank? It's a metric that shows how your product ranks compared to similar products within the same category. You can find this information in the product details section. Books can be ranked in up to 3 bestseller category lists, regardless of how many categories the book may be featured in. As you can see, a book can have more than one BSR if it falls under multiple categories, and the BSR can vary for each. As most of you know, the lower the BSR, the better the sales. But here's a big question. How does Amazon actually calculate its sales rank? First thing first, Amazon doesn't actually share how the bestsellers rank is calculated. It's a bit of mystery, but the best way to get answers is to see what Amazon itself says about it. Let's start by checking out Amazon's official blog post about BSR on Seller Central. Here's what Amazon says. Amazon calculates bestsellers rank using sales volume data. Both recent sales and all-time sales factor into a BSR, though recent sales count more than older sales. So I will add this to our list. Alright, let's keep going. Here's another important point. BSRs aren't influenced by page views or customer reviews. A sales rank doesn't necessarily indicate product quality or tell you what customers think about a product. I will add this to the list as well. Now let's dive into the KDP Help Center to see what else we can uncover. Here it says, bestseller and category ranks are based on customer activity of your book relative to the activity of other books. From this, we can understand that rankings are relative. This means that your sales rank can change even if your book's activity remains constant. For instance, your rank might improve if other books experience a drop in activity, or it could decline if other books see an increase in activity. So, I will add this to our list. If we keep reading, it also mentions rankings are updated hourly but may take 24 to 48 hours to appear. Let's add that to the list as well. It also says here, rankings reflect recent and historical activity, with recent activity weighted more heavily. We have already added this to our list, so no need to repeat it. Now, if we check the last paragraph, it says, the ranking for books with consistent activity histories that have been available on Amazon for a long time may fluctuate less than the ranking of new books or books whose histories aren't as stable. From this, we can see that new books tend to have more fluctuation in their rankings. I will add this to our list as well. Our list is complete. To summarize, Amazon bestsellers rankings are based on both recent and all-time sales, with recent sales weighted more heavily in the calculation. These rankings aren't influenced by page views or customer reviews and do not reflect product quality or customer opinions. Instead, they represent customer activity relative to other books in the same category. Rankings are updated hourly, but it may take 24 to 48 hours for changes to appear. Additionally, new books often experience more ranking fluctuations compared to older books with more stable sales histories. Before diving into what YouTubers deliberately leave out when presenting BSR figures of popular books, I want to clear up a common point of confusion, especially for beginners: the difference between BSR and search ranking. As I have explained, Amazon BSR reflects how well a product sells compared to others in the same category. In contrast, organic ranking shows how well a product ranks for a specific search term or keywords. This means that having a lower BSR doesn't automatically guarantee a high ranking for a particular search term or keywords. That's why, as you can see here, when you search on Amazon, you might notice products with higher BSRs appearing ahead of those with lower BSRs. However, both rankings are tied to sales volume. So a product that sells well has a better chance of ranking higher in both organic search and Amazon bestsellers lists. If you have made it this far into the video, I hope Amazon's bestseller rank data is much clearer now. If it is, let's move on to how you can actually interpret BSR. Firstly, I know many of you use BSR to get a rough estimate of how many sales of a product on Amazon is generating. But remember, as I mentioned earlier, Amazon doesn't share the exact formula for calculating BSR. This means the daily and monthly sales numbers you see in BSR to sales calculator tools are just estimates. While some tools are more accurate than others, keep in mind that BSRs are updated hourly and can fluctuate frequently depending on the ASIN you are tracking. For example, a single sale of a high-volume book might barely impact its rank, while one sale of a low-volume book could dramatically improve its rank. This is why you might see different sales estimates from day to day, especially if you are looking at books with inconsistent activity histories or newer releases. So before you dive in and invest your time and money, it's a good idea to track a niche or competitor's ranking over a period of time, maybe a week or more, to get a clearer picture of potential earnings. You can use paid tools to check the BSR history of a book or track it manually day by day. Secondly, by checking the BSRs, you can get an idea of the demand and competition within the particular niche. When you are doing niche research, if you spot products on the first page with low BSRs, that's a clear sign there is a demand in that niche. But don't forget, if there is demand, there's usually already competition or it's coming soon. This is exactly what some YouTubers deliberately leave out in their clickbait videos to manipulate you. Yes, you can make $10,000 a month or even more on Amazon KDP. I am not disputing their numbers, but here's the thing, they never mention the cost of getting to those earnings, do they? So let's do a very rough calculation to give you an idea. You are probably all familiar with Cocowayo's coloring books, which are huge on Amazon right now. They have got 13 books on the Amazon bestseller list in the USA, which is pretty impressive. Let's look at their stress relief book. I am sure most of you have seen it. Its BSR is currently 12 in the books category. Let's plug this BSR into two different KDP book sales calculators. As you can see, the numbers are pretty different across the board. But since we are just doing a rough calculation, it doesn't matter much. I will go with the lower estimate, which seems more realistic to me. This book sells about 1,000 copies a day. If we check Amazon KDP's official printing cost and royalty calculator, this book, measuring 8.5 by 8.5 inches with 110 pages and a listing price of $7.99, has an estimated royalty of around $2,000 per day. If you want to reach the number 12 spot in BSR, you will need to sell as many copies as this book does. Not just for a single day, but consistently over a certain period, like 30,000 copies a month, as this Cocowayo book achieves. To hit such impressive sales numbers, you will first need a high quality book, and then you will have to generate massive traffic to your listings. This traffic can come from three main sources: organic search results for your targeted keywords, external traffic you drive to your Amazon listings, or paid Amazon ads. For organic search visibility, you must carefully choose your product category and optimize your book's title, cover, description, backend keywords, A+ content, and more. However, relying solely on organic efforts won't be enough to achieve such high sales volumes initially, even if you have created the best book with the top-tier listing optimization. To reach BSR levels like number 12, appearing on the first page for just a few targeted keywords isn't sufficient. You will need to rank among the top 5 products for numerous high search volume terms related to your book. Why? Because depending on the category, the top 5 products often capture around 50% of the clicks, and consequently, the majority of the sales. If your book isn't one of these top-ranked products for high-traffic keywords, selling 1,000 copies a day, like Cocowayo, becomes nearly impossible. When it comes to driving external traffic, I have shown in a previous video how Cocowayo stays consistently active on social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Their coloring videos attract millions of views, and I believe this plays a significant role in their success. However, most of you probably don't have such a large traffic source or audience. This is also something many YouTubers fail to mention when they show impressive sales figures. They rarely talk about the extensive groundwork involved, such as creating daily content for social media, which is time-consuming and often takes a long time to go viral or build an audience capable of delivering such results. Of course, if they told you this upfront, their clickbait titles wouldn't be as convincing. Since organic ranking and building an audience take time, you are left with one primary tool to achieve faster results: Amazon ads. Let's create a purely fictional projection for running ads against Cocowayo's stress relief coloring book. First, you need to calculate the target ACoS, advertising cost of sales. ACoS is a metric Amazon uses to show how much you spend on ads for every dollar of revenue you generate. The formula to calculate ACoS is ACoS equals ad spent divided by ad revenue times 100. Defining your break-even ACoS is crucial to evaluating your ad performance. The break-even ACoS equals your product's profit margin. For example, If you sell your book at the same price as Coca-Cola's coloring book, $7.99, and your profit per sale is $1.92, the break-even ACOS would be 1.92 divided by 7.99 times 100 equals 24%. If your ACOS is below 24%, you are making a profit. If it is above 24%, you are losing money. Depending on your strategy, you might intentionally accept losses initially to improve your organic ranking for certain keywords, which is a common practice to stimulate organic sales over time. Let's go through a hypothetical scenario to show you how to estimate costs and strategies, not based on real figures, but just to demonstrate the process. When you launch a brand new book in the competitive niche, like the bold and easy coloring book category, and you don't have an external traffic source, it's realistic to assume that most of your sales will initially come from Amazon ads. For example, in the first month, let's say 70% of your sales are ad-driven, while 30% come from organic search results. Over time, as your book begins to rank organically for different search terms, this ratio may improve. Now imagine your average ACOS is 36.5% at the start. It's normal to have a higher ACOS when you first launch your ad campaigns. With careful management, you might eventually reach your ACOS break-even point or even lower, which should be your goal. In this case, at an ACOS of 36.5%, you would spend $2.92 per ad-driven sale. Since your profit margin is $1.92, you would lose $1 on each sale made through ads. This is quite typical in the beginning. If your goal is to sell 1,000 copies daily with 700 sales coming from ads, you would lose $700 daily from ad-driven sales. On the other hand, if 300 sales come from organic search, you would earn $576. This means you'd spend $2,044 daily on ads and end up losing $124 per day. For the first month, that would require a $60,000 ad budget, and you'd incur a $3,700 loss by month's end. It's important to remember that Amazon pays earnings on a 60-day cycle, so you'll need to finance the gap between paying for ads and receiving your royalties. Additionally, to maintain your BSR in the second month, you will need to continue running ads. Assuming you achieve better ACOS and more organic sales by month 2, you might spend around $40,000 on ads. You need to finance these costs as well until Amazon pays out your earnings from the first month. This cycle continues until you achieve greater profitability with a lower ACOS and more organic sales. Meanwhile, publishers like Coca-Cola, who generate significant free traffic through social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, will always have an edge. They will remain more profitable because they rely less on ads to drive sales. As I said, these numbers are purely fictional and don't reflect the real-world figures. My goal is to illustrate what it takes to succeed in a highly competitive niche, particularly for those inspired by exaggerated claims from popular YouTubers. Everyone's niche, experience, and budget will vary. Feel free to share your thoughts and projections in the comments. I know this topic can be controversial, but I hope this video didn't come across as overly negative. My goal is to provide a clear and realistic picture of the challenges on Amazon KDP so you can approach it wisely. See you soon in the next video.